Good evening and welcome to another video. Today is Sunday the 28th of August 2016, and in tonight's video I'm going to look ahead and preview the men's singles from the US Open Tennis 2016, which is going to take place over the next couple of weeks. In this video I'm going to try and pick a winner for you of who I think will win the US Open men's singles event. Now so far this year, this is the last major of the year. We've had three majors played already, and Novak Djokovic started the year brilliantly, winning the Australian Open and the French Open, but suffered a third round shock defeat to Sam Querrey at Wimbledon, and Andy Murray took advantage of that and he went on and won Wimbledon. He then backed up his Wimbledon success with the recent Olympic title a couple of weeks ago. He had been 20 odd matches unbeaten, and Marin Cilic beat him in a hardcourt event in North America into this event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break the draw into four quarters and say who's the strong player in each quarter and who I think will win the quarter. And at the end of the video, I'll say who I think will win the overall competition. So in the top quarter is a very hard place of the draw. I can't start anybody else but the number one seed, Novak Djokovic. He's got a tough first round match against Jerzy Januzek, who's a big serving Polish player, who's a very difficult opponent on a fast hard court if he gets his serve right. He hasn't had his serve right in recent times, but this could be a match where he could click in, and if he clicks in, it'll be a very hard game from Novak Djokovic. He'll have to return very well against Jerzy in this match. If he gets through that, he'll have a relatively easy draw the next couple of games. This section also includes John Isner, and who's one of the best servers in world tennis. That 6'8", 6'9" serve is very hard to pick, and only the best can pick it, like Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray can pick it. But he could play Richard Gasquet in his quarter of the draw, and again that's a very interesting matchup with the aggression of Isner versus the finesse of Gasquet. But a very interesting match to see what happens if they two play. Also in the top quarter of the draw, we've got Joel Tsonga, who is an all-round good player and is due another good major. Jack Sock. Now I think that Jack Sock needs a big tournament. Could this be Jack Sock's big breakthrough tournament, a singles competition? He's made it in doubles before, but interested to see if he can make it all on his own in singles. He's got a very good serve and he's got a massive forehand. He'll be a good draw to avoid in the US Open. The last player in the top half of the draw, top quarter, sorry, is Marin Cilic, and again he's a very dangerous player. He's in terrific form. He ended Andy Murray's streak of winning matches last week. I'd be interested to see how he plays in the US Open over the best of 5 sets compared to the best of 3 sets he played in that week. The second quarter of the draw, the top seed in that is Rafael Nadal. Now he'll want to set a strong statement by winning his quarter of the draw, and he'll play players who this is their least favourite surface. He plays a lot of clay court players, which is a big advantage of him. I don't see him being challenged until the quarterfinals, when he'll probably face Milos Raonic, because I expect Milos Raonic to win a lot of his games as well. But the thing that Rafael Nadal needs to pick up is that quicker flat serve, which he lost after winning the US Open a few years back. He won the US Open with that, but then injuries took over and he couldn't serve that 125 mph serve out wide, and that really took away from his game on hard court. So I'll be interested to see if he does face Milos Raonic, what the outcome is. Milos Raonic again has been there or thereabouts. He was terrific reaching the Wimbledon final, and I expect to see another good Grand Slam for Milos Raonic. I think he'll go very far in this competition. Also, Gael Monfils is in this quarter of the draw as well. He's a player you want to avoid in hard court situations as well. The third quarter, again, is a very tough section. The top seed in that is Stanislav Wawrinka. Now, he's a very good player. At 31 years of old age, he's now getting the peak of his career, and he now plays more aggressive than he ever did previously. And he's got a tough opening match against John Millman, who reached the semi-final of an ATP 250 event this week. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get past Millman in the first round. If he does get past Millman, I think he's got a very tough quarter of the draw, as I said before, so it'll be interesting to see if he does make it all the way through his quarter. The next highest seed in this part of the draw is Dominic Thiem. Now, he's an up-and-coming 22-year-old. Could this be his breakthrough year? He made the semi-finals of Roland Garros at the French Open, but interested to see if he can back up that with a performance on hard court at the US Open. Now, there's also Sam Querrey in this top quarter of the draw. Again, he'll be very a player you want to avoid because we've seen that at Wimbledon where he beat Novak Djokovic, which was a terrific performance by Sam Querrey, almost shot by shot perfect. This part of the draw is made up with Juan Martín del Potro as well. Now, he had a great Olympics reaching the final. If his body holds up over the best of 5 set format, he could do quite well as a wild card in this US Open. We all know that he's very good on the surface. He's been a previous winner here back in 2009, but his body has failed him since then. So it'll be interesting to see how Juan Martín del Potro does in this year's US Open. Other big names in this quarter of the draw and unpredictable names. Fabio Fognini, he's very unpredictable, but he's very good on his day. So is Nick Kyrgios, this is similar to Fabio Fognini, and Bernard Tomic. All very volatile players, but all top class players. You've also got the consistency of David Ferrer. You always get the same level of performance from David Ferrer. You've also got two younger players in this quarter of the draw that could do something. Alexander Severa is in this quarter of the draw. Now, he's a very young and up-and-coming German player who's got one of Andy Murray's former coaches in his camp. It'll be interesting to see how he develops over the next few years. And Dan Evans is also in this quarter of the draw. He's been pulling up some good results in recent times over the last year and expect him to continue this at this US Open. Moving on to the final quarter of the draw, Andy Murray's the top seed in the final quarter. Well, we want to back up his Olympic and his Wimbledon success this year. He's had some back issues and other couple of issues with his body since the Olympics because it's been a very tough schedule for him, and I'll be very interested to see how he gets on in this competition. He's got a very tough first round match against Lucas Russell, who's very unpredictable. We all know that Lucas Russell beat Rafael Nadal at Wimbledon a few years back. It'll be interesting to see if he can play at those levels again. Also in his quarter of the draw is Gregor Dimitrov. He's upped his game since Wimbledon a great amount. He's playing more aggressively, and that's more to his strengths. If he really does need to play more aggressively, because if he plays too passive, he will get beat by anyone. You've also got the massive server Ivo Karlovic in this quarter of the draw, and if it's his day, he can beat anyone in this draw. You've also got Kai Nishikori in this part of the draw as well. The 2014 finalist can beat anyone's day, but he can also get beat by anyone. Just like in 2013, he got beat first round by Dan Evans in straight sets. The next year, he made the final, so you never ever know what you're going to get from Kai Nishikori. So let's move on and talk about an overall winner. I think we're talking between 2-3 players who can win this. Andy Murray, Novak Djokovic, or I think that someone like a Stanislav Wawrinka will win this. I think will be one of those three that wins this competition. But don't count out Milos Raonic because I think Milos Raonic is deserving of a major, but this might be a little bit too early for him. But it'll be either one of those four who will win this competition. I'm going to stick my head out on the line, and I think that it will be a Raonic Murray final, just like it was at Wimbledon. I think Milos Raonic will beat Novak Djokovic because Novak Djokovic's troubles are now in the past with his personal life, but I think that Milos Raonic will still have a little bit too much for him in that semi-final if they get that far. And I think that Andy Murray will win the bottom half of the draw, and it will create a Andy Murray versus Milos Raonic final. And again, I think we'll see a very tight battle between these two, a lot tighter than it was at Wimbledon. And I think that Andy Murray will edge the final in 5 sets over Milos Raonic. So with that, that's the end of this video. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up on the video. If you want to leave feedback on this video, you can do so via the comment section below or via my Twitter. And until tomorrow, I'll upload a new video and a new series on my channel. I will see you then. Goodbye.